So I thought I'd share a video today of the tank and the equipment. This is a Waterbox Marine X110.4. Lighting, I'm using 3 Ecotech Marine XR15 G5 Pros. The power heads are the Ecotech MP40s running a different wet side cover I got from BRS. Some company 3D prints these. They make a lot of 3D printed parts. I can't remember the name of the company that does it right off the top of my head. But they're really nice. They give a nice wide pattern, but it allows you to also keep the power head a little closer to the top of the surface without creating a vortex, even though the one on this right side the last couple of days has been creating one, but I think it's because the return flow is shooting in that direction, creating some turbulence and allowing it to do it. The aquaculture, the rockscape, I built myself out of Marco rock. Took me 3 or 4 days to build it. I kind of planned it out over the course of a week or so. Came up with an idea and then spent about 3 days gluing it all together and putting it in the tank. It's actually 3 separate structures that can be pulled out individually if necessary. I've got a few, the tank's only been up a little over 3 months, so I've got just a few starter corals in here. Some bird's nests, corals here, picked up at Top Shelf Aquatics. They were on sale, probably getting rid of some mother colonies or whatever. Got those real cheap. A few zoanthids, the TSA Smurfette. I think the other one is a Fireworks. And then the furthest one over here to the right is a King Midas. I picked up this rainbow hammer at Worldwide Corals in Orlando just recently. Some encrusting monopora. I can't remember the names of either one of those two right now. There's a grafted monopora cap. A Hulk Leptocerus down at the bottom here. It's been doing really well. A Duncan that's growing like crazy. It's sprouted, I don't know, at least 12 new heads around the edge of it. However, I'm a little concerned the tentacles on this are like super long. I'm not sure if it's hungry or if it's just getting too much flow where it's at. I'm thinking it has something to do with flow, but I'm gonna leave it where it's at for the time being unless I see it having some issues. Equipment-wise, we have a Platinum Trigger Series sump. It's the 29. Reef Octo skimmer. I believe that's the 150 SS. I'm using all Apex Neptune systems, so the auto top off is run through Apex Neptune. I've got an Ecotech M2 return pump. On this side, obviously the controller for the skimmer, it's a DC skimmer. I have a CO2 scrubber mounted here. I have an air dryer for the ozone generator. That ozone generator is running over to the skimmer. An Apex Trident that's testing for alkalinity, calcium, magnesium. So 4 times a day, alkalinity, calcium and magnesium. It's testing twice for the calcium and magnesium. Let's see, what else? I have over on this side, my auto top off equipment's in here along with an ice cap 150 Kalkwasser reactor. I know a lot of people don't like to use Kalkwasser. They feel it's kind of dangerous. And I've had my struggles with it, but I've never had an issue where it overdosed or anything like that and my tank caused any sort of issues. I run the Kalkwasser reactor through the auto top off essentially, well, I feed it with auto top off. So in the container, I use 2 Apex PMUP pumps. And then in the programming, I set the one up for the Kalkwasser reactor to basically do the auto top off as long as the pH is below 8.3. If the pH is above 8.3, it'll just pump straight RODI water to the tank, which happens very rarely. So on this side, the Kalkwasser will come in here and dose into the return section. The auto top off, if it ever needs to run, it comes into the actual auto top off. It's using 2 optical sensors here, a low and a high. And that's about that part. The dose, the Apex dose, is being used for auto water changes. So I'm doing an auto water change, 2 gallon, right now 2 gallons a day. I was doing 3, but it was a little bit of an overkill. My nitrates and phosphates were really, really low, so I've cut it back to 2. My phosphate was at like anywhere between 0.03 and 0.01. However, it's fallen to 0.00, and my nitrates are finally up to about 7. So I was a little nervous that my phosphates were dropping too low, so I had some Roaphos in the sump, but I took that out yesterday to see if I can get my phosphates to come up a little bit. I really am trying to avoid dosing phosphates or nitrates. However, I have it. I'm a little reluctant to start using it. The Apex controller board over here, run with an iPad or my phone, either one. So I'm using, I've got an ASM module that runs the par meter that sits in the top of the tank up here. 2 FMM modules. One is doing the auto top off. The other one is, let's see, it's running the flow sensor that's on my return, and a flow sensor also in my water change mixing pump. And that's about it. So my water change barrel sits behind this door over here, kind of out of the way. Pretty simple setup, not too far of a run. The Apex dose does a really good job. It just goes out through this wall and it drains out right next to where my air conditioner drains. So really simple. Obviously, over on this side, the water gets pulled out of the tank during the water change from the skimmer section and gets added back through this side here into the return section. So it does 2 gallons split up over 4 hours. And that's pretty much it.